got a call from my producers, and I was fighting with my mother in a West Elm. We were fighting over a rug, and they said, Scarlett is going to direct and produce your movie. And I fell back dramatically onto one of those show couches.
Sure.
My mom and I both had a nice cry. Then we went back to fighting over the rug.
If there's one thing I've learned, and you can write this down in your notebook, you have to talk about the things that make you sad.
How did this come about? What was the inspiration for you, your first produced screenplay?
The inspiration is I had homework due. I was in grad school when I wrote this, and it was my first year of grad school. I was having a lot of conversations with my grandmother at the time, my grandmother Eleanor, who was 95, and she'd moved from Florida to New York, as you just watched. The rest of it isn't true. The rest of it I made up. Please, please know that. But I was having a lot of conversations with her. I had just moved to LA, and she had just moved to New York, and we were both lonely. But I was 23, and so I made friends very quickly. And she was 95, and you know, she didn't. And she felt like a novelty, and she didn't really know how she was going to make friends. And I thought, there's something here. I thought about the first scene I came up with was Eleanor at the bat mitzvah. And it was June in my head. And so I wrote this with June Squibb in mind the whole time.
Wow.
Yeah.
You gotta love it when somebody writes a screenplay with you in mind. Does it get more of a compliment than that? What was it like the first time that you read the screenplay? What was your first take on it? What struck you?
The first take, I think by the second page that I realized I must do this. This is something that I'm saying yes to.
So, okay, it's your first produced screenplay. Scarlett Johansson is directing your film. There has got to be a great story there.
Yeah, the story is, I still don't really know how the hell it happened. No, I mean, the story is this screenplay had a lot of lives. By the time she got it, I had written it 6 years before or 7 years before. She got the script, and the day after, I got a call from my producers. And I was fighting with my mother in a West Elm. We were fighting over a rug. And I got the call, and they said, Scarlett is going to direct and produce your movie. And I fell back dramatically onto one of those show couches.
Sure.
And my mom and I both had a nice cry. And then we went back to fighting over the rug. And I bought it. But and then I sort of thought, Scarlett obviously signs on to a lot of projects. She's got a full dance card. Let's see how real this is. And then I went and I met her 2 months later, and she had already hired a lot of people. And it was real.
What was that first meeting with her like?
I mean, you're going to 30 Rock to meet Scarlett Johansson. It's sort of a lot. But you walk in, and she's very normal and very lovely, and had really read the script and understood the script and had her own ideas and her own changes that she wanted to make, and it was hers. And I was so happy to give it to her because I'd been holding on to it for dear life for so many years that I was like, take it, please, somebody take it. This isn't mine anymore.
So tell me about your first conversations with Scarlett.
Well, we had a Zoom, and I understood that certainly if she decided she didn't want me to do it, that she was going to direct it. But she was so honest, she was so lovely, and we sort of got along on Zoom, which is not easy. And so I just felt immediately that this is something that could work. And the more I worked with her, the more I realized, oh my God, this is great. I loved working with her.
Working with her, what does that mean? What is that collaboration like, especially with, my goodness, all the filmmakers that you've worked with?
Yeah. Well, with her, it meant that because she was such a fine actress, she was able to tell where I was going, what I was doing, how long it should take or not take, and it was great. There was no, I never felt pushed. I never felt that, I had to rush through. She just knew exactly what I was doing, and that's gold as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, absolutely it is. I mean, look, all the directors she's worked with, she's going to pick up a few things about directing her first feature. But tell me, Rita, about your experience. What struck you about Scarlett as a director?
Well, she's a woman that I think she knows what she wants, she knows what she needs, and she knows how to get it. I remember the very first time when I started my sad story, she came over and kind of very softly whispered, "That was very good, but..." And she gave me, she said something which is so right, and I will always remember it. So you have the scene, if you give it your all at the beginning, where do you go after that? Hold it back, give them little by little. She was very, very good, very good.
It was also in our first meeting that we sort of came to the understanding that we were going to very heavily involve the Shoah Foundation, and also it was fantastic that we could, all of the survivors on screen are actual Holocaust survivors, and so it was just fantastic to have those people come in and donate their time and be so generous with it.
What is it like for you to have Eleanor the Great come out after last year with
After Thelma.
Thelma, which,
Well, I think it's kind of amazing, 2 films for a woman over 90. But great. No, I've loved both of them, and they're different women, which is so wonderful, to feel that I mean, I don't quite know whether to say I am, she is, or what. But anyway, it was great. It was lovely, and a big surprise, I must say.
I'm curious, like were you in LA the entire time that the movie was filming?
No. I was in New York for the last 3 weeks of shooting.
What was that like for you?
It was amazing. The first day I walked onto set, we were in the synagogue, we were shooting synagogue scenes, and I walked on and I was in Video Village and I see the camera and they're in between takes. And Scarlett is giving June notes while also giving her a back rub. And I thought, this is the loveliest thing. And if this were anybody else, it would be so inappropriate. But because it's like Scarlett with June at this exact moment, I just thought, this is so lovely, and I'm so glad that everything is going well. It was really surreal. It's totally surreal to see. And she's playing a version of my grandma. I mean, obviously a version of my grandma that does something very bad, but she's playing a version of my grandma, and I lost my grandma in 2020, and so it was really surreal to see and exciting.
What were some of the, unique acting challenges for you, compared to all the other work you've done?
Well, I think the most unique challenge I had was learning the bat mitzvah for the Torah. The Torah bat mitzvah is what I'm trying to say. And it was hard. It was really hard to learn. And once I got it, I was very proud of it. And we did the scene, and I just zipped it out like crazy. Everybody was like, my God. But then they didn't use it. And Scarlett has promised me sometime people are going to see that.
I was there that day, and she did a really good job. She did a great job.
Well, since the film premiered, since it was at Cannes, since it was at Toronto, and since it's out now, was there a reaction, a review, whatever, somebody told you that really meant a lot to you, or something you read that meant a lot to you?
Ooh, I tried not to read reviews. I read all of them. But I hadn't met Rita until today, and which was a shame, but we're going to get at dinner and it's great. But hadn't met Rita until today, and when she told me what she felt about the script and specifically about the harder sections, that really meant the most to me, where she really connected with them, and it was just lovely. That means the most. And then I really like that it's making people cry. I'm having a great time. My friends are really mad seeing it, and they're crying, and it's lovely.
All right, June, how about for you? Was there a reaction that, meant a lot to you?
Yeah, I think when I realized that Scarlett was with me and liked my work and really wanted to make this film with me, and that was a great compliment.
Well, that is the ultimate compliment. Thank you all so much, and thank you all for an amazing conversation.
Thank you so much.